Are we ready to go then? Mhm. Okay, well, welcome. Sorry we had a bit of a glitch as we got started here, but welcome and thank you for tuning into the Lincoln County League of Women Voters Virtual Candidate Forum. First of all, our most sincere thanks to Dave Price and his team at Oregon Coast Community College for providing the technical expertise and equipment. First of all, I need to remind you that League of Women Voters locally and nationally is nonpartisan and neither supports nor opposes political parties or candidates for elected office. We will adhere to that strictly as we move through the evening. Tonight, we will present the slate of candidates running for the 3 positions on the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. To be fair, responses will be strictly timed so that all have an opportunity. Remember, we have the ability to mute your mic. One of the 12 candidates, unfortunately, was unable to be with us this evening, and I will read his initial remarks into the first round for position 1. If time allows, we will plan a brief Q&A at the end of tonight's programs. Your questions may be submitted via the chat feature as you're viewing this virtually. Please state the issue briefly and in a manner designed that all candidates will be able to respond. We have people monitoring the chat features. So generally, as I start each group, I ask the question once and then repeat it if requested by subsequent speakers. In order to try to do this as fairly as possible, I'm going to draw names as to who speaks first. And we are going to begin with position 1. And our first speaker will be Kathy Rigby, followed by, I am drawing names out of a little dish that you can't see. Casey Miller, Sherry Brubaker, Nicole Moody, and Drew Earls. So let's open that discussion, and we will begin with the opening statement, which I shared with all of you. What I would like you to do is in your opening statement, briefly summarize the primary responsibilities and time commitment of the county commissioner position and how your personal background and experience qualify you to fulfill these responsibilities. And for that, you have 1 minute, beginning with Kathy. You need to unmute when it's time.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this event. So in my statement, I would like to say that I'm a wife, a mother, and a daughter of immigrant parents who were from Peru. I grew up in a working class coastal neighborhood, much like this one, and I learned early that what community can mean and what it feels like to lose it when the cost of living outpaces a family's ability to pay. So that's why the role of county commissioner is so important, because no other role so directly impacts the community that it serves. My entire career has been about strengthening communities. I've secured millions in grants, built programs for working families, and helped local governments and nonprofits turn policy into real on-the-ground solutions for the community.
15 seconds.
I'm running for Lincoln County Commissioner because I want to ensure that Lincoln County remains a place where people can stay, grow, and thrive. And that means strengthening our local economy, expanding attainable housing, transportation services, and support working families and protecting the coastal environment that defines who we are. Thank you.
Next up, Casey Miller. 30 seconds with your opening statement.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, Casey Miller. I'm currently a county commissioner. I've served as the public information officer in the county commissioner's office for 14 years prior to taking office in 2023. And that experience empowers me to be very familiar with the work of the commission. There is a lot of work potentially a commissioner can do for the community. It is very, very wide ranging. And to that end, time management is a huge piece to effectively jumping in and being able to address the issues that the commission is facing from week to week. So I'm passionate about transparency,
15 seconds.
communication, and that the community is able to govern simultaneously along with the elected officials together as a complete whole. That's how we can address and solve the community's problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry.
A commissioner makes decisions that affects our lives, from public safety to infrastructure to the development of our communities, an advocate to the state and federal government, a partner to our cities, districts, and the Siletz tribe, an ally to the business community, and a representative of all of us in Lincoln County. As a journalist, I covered this board. As Congresswoman Val Hoyle's field representative, I helped constituents facing real crisis, and I helped the Congresswoman bring $5 million in federal funding to Lincoln County. I'm not coming to the board to learn on the job. I know the issues, I have the relationships, and I know how to get things done. I've been asking questions, listening, bringing people together,
15
and
seconds.
working to solve problems in our community. Am I done?
Couple more minutes, a couple seconds.
That's what,
Wrap up.
sorry. And working to solve problems in our community. And that is what I will do as your commissioner.
Thank you. My apologies. The yellow means, in this case, you have 15 seconds, and I apologize for not saying that ahead of time. Nicole?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I've got a bachelor's degree in social work. I have a master's degree in business. I spent a good portion of my time working with vulnerable populations, and then I transitioned into contracts management. I think the combination between social work and corporate America, businesses, and negotiating contracts is a good blend because I know how to listen to people, I have empathy, and I also know how to solve problems inside of business. I am coming for a thriving economy, safe families, personal responsibility and unity, and I'm coming because I see a divided community that needs some leadership that can bring us back together.
Thank you very much. Drew? Over there. Drew, do we have you? You are muted and I don't see you. Can you
Yeah,
click on?
the camera's not working, but I got it unmuted.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have a PhD in cereal chemistry. I have 40 years of management experience through restaurants. I've worked in nonprofit agencies for over 3 years. I worked as a home health caregiver for 2 years. I've worked at multi-billion-dollar corporations where I was a top manager. I have the background and the experience to fill the position. I wanted the board to work for the residents of Lincoln County, and that's why I'm running.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to read into the film the response to that request from Carter McAtee, who was not able to be with us this evening. Carter says, the role of the county commissioner centers on 3 responsibilities: setting policy, managing the county budget, and overseeing operations. So these decisions impact public safety, infrastructure, land use, and economic development, and require ongoing commitment through meetings, preparation, and community engagement. My background has prepared me well for these responsibilities. I've built and managed a business, overseen large teams, sometimes nearing 100 employees, and made real-world decisions where accountability and results matter. The experience translates to understanding budgets, managing personnel, and navigating challenges under pressure. I've also spent years working with the public, which has sharpened my ability to listen, communicate clearly, and make practical common sense decisions. I approach this role with a mindset of fiscal responsibility, transparency, and service. I understand what it means to be accountable, not just to the bottom line, but to a community, and I'm ready to bring the same level of ownership and work ethic to the county commission. Okay, I have shuffled my little name tags here, and so we'll go in a different order as we begin with question 1, for which you have 2 minutes to respond, and we will signal you at 30 seconds. that you have 30 seconds remaining. The question is, considering the challenges county government is facing right now, what is your philosophy of how to nurture positive working relationships with your fellow commissioners, department heads, and other elected officials? And this time we'll begin with Nicole Moody.
I find that when you start any job, regardless of commissioner's job or any place else, it's probably best to go in and ask questions, to learn, find out what's going on, and establish relationships with people. I think that's the best way that you can collaborate. So I think the first thing you have to do is establish relationships with your peers. You have to build trust and you have to work together. So in order for anyone to get anything done on the commission, there has to be at least two people working together who can come to an agreement. Currently, we have two commissioners who don't agree on anything and nothing's getting done. So we have to have at least two people who can agree on what the path forward looks like. In order to do that, you have to have trust and you have to have communication. That means you have to include everyone in the discussions. You have to be transparent about what it is you're trying to do, and you have to come to an agreement on what that looks like. So for partners, and in this case, 3 partners, you have to have at least 2 people who agree on an agenda moving forward. And for the people's sake, it has to be done in a way that is transparent and fair. Both people, all 3 people, hopefully, will be coming together in good faith to come to a decision that makes the most sense for the people. I do not think that the people are being served right now. There's infighting and dysfunction. And I think in order to get through that, there has to be a level of trust established. And I don't think we have that right now. It's something that all parties have to be invested in, and all parties have to want to solve those problems. So for me, what I would do is I'd get to know my co-commissioners. I'd find out what is important to them. We could come to an agreement on what we both, or we all 3 agree is a path forward. And then we have to put together a process that allows us to do that. And really, that's it. It's networking and collaboration, but more than that, it's trust. And I think there's a lack of trust right now. So if we have 3 commissioners who can come together, look each other in the eye, and agree on what the path forward looks like, we can get somewhere. But we can't do that as long as there is infighting and dysfunction.
Thank you. We'll go next to Sherry Brubaker. Do I need to repeat the question?
No, thank you. I've got it.
Thank you.
At the basis of my philosophy is that the commissioner represents everyone in Lincoln County. That's not the loudest person in the room. That's not one side. That's not the other side. It's everybody. And that is at the core of why I'm running. I believe we need to recognize that we have more in common than our differences because we all live here and because we all care about this place. And that is at the center of everything that I will do. I will always seek to represent, to make decisions based on what serves the greatest number of the people who live in this county. The Board of Commissioners as a group must be able to stand together after the vote. No matter how the vote goes, they must stand together. And they also must set and expect a certain basic standard of decency and respect for everyone. And I believe that. That's what I think that we all deserve from our county government, from any government. Thank you.
Thank you. Drew, let's have you go next. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, would you please?
Considering the challenges county government is facing right now, what is your philosophy of how to nurture positive working relationships with your fellow commissioners, department heads, and other elected officials?
Well, I spent 40 years in management doing restaurants. I've worked with thousands of people over the years and the general public. And the point is, we have to get the business of the county completed. We have to have people that can work together. You have to put your personal differences aside. You have to look at what's best for the residents of Lincoln County and work towards that. I could care less if anybody likes me or not. I'm there to get a job done for the people. You have to be able to communicate with people. You have to be able to work with people. You don't have to go out to dinner with them afterwards. And I want to represent everybody too. Everybody lives here. We have to live together. We have to work together. And all of my experience gives me the capabilities to work with people all across the board, no matter who you are, no matter what type of lifestyle you have. And that's how you get the business of the county done, is by working together and moving things forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Casey, let's go next to you.
Thank you very much, Jane. One of the things the county needs to work on is policy and procedure and framework to facilitate the collaboration. And that is something that historically worked for the county until there was disagreement. So the reason we need things like a policy and procedure to establish the agenda, or even meetings to have intermediary discussions to discuss what are the issues to bring forward before the board. We've been absent of a staff meeting for elected officials for 18 months. So you do need a framework that allows a psychologically safe and transparent space for the elected officials to come together and have the conversations that are necessary. That framework creates the venue for the collaboration. And until the county puts that framework together, it's going to be difficult. People can be marginalized in the conversation. So some of that basic, fundamental, foundational policy needs to be created. Thank you.
Thank you. And for this group, Kathy Rigby.
Thank you. So because of all of the challenges that the county is facing, it is very important that the Board of Commissioners operate with clarity and consistency to rebuild that trust, not only with each other, but with the department heads, the elected officials, and with the community. The Board of Commissioners needs to operate with clear communication to express the concerns that are the communities that they're facing and that they want to bring forward. We have to act in a manner that exudes calmness so that we can avoid escalation of heated issues. We have to be clear and provide clarification to the community and to each other so that we can understand the viewpoints that are being expressed from one another and by the community to us. And we have to operate in a spirit of collaboration. Once we try to understand one another, we can find those common grounds where we can advocate and we can move the work forward. All of this hopefully leads to compromise so that when a decision is made, it's done in that spirit of collaboration and clear communication, and so that the community can understand not only the decision that's being made, the priority that's being advanced, but why we made the decision that we made. And once we can operate in that manner, the community can begin to build trust with our decision-making ability, and the department heads will rely on us as well and know that they can trust the communication that's being set out to them. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to the candidates for position number 2. And I've drawn out of my little bucket here the order in which they will speak. We will begin with Marcy Baker, followed by Eddie Townsend, and that must leave Kristen Dunn. So would you like me to repeat the question beginning with Marcy? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I think I missed your opening statement opportunity. So, all right. Let's start with your opening statement. When we talked about what are the responsibilities, time commitment, and your background and experience. 1 minute. Marcy.
Hi, thank you. So I see the time commitment as being full-time work and then always being on call. which is what I'm used to. I am well prepared for the role of commissioner, which I see as first representation of the community, then oversight and your fiduciary duties of loyalty, care, and duty to the organization. And that means putting the public interest and Lincoln County ahead of your own personal interests. Then there's management and delivery of services. There's a quasi judicial role that you play with public hearings and land use, and providing legislative solutions and cultural leadership. So I have a lot of experience with operational accountability, regulatory compliance, navigating state and local laws, proactive documentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Eddie Townsend.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eddie Townsend. I'm running for Lincoln County Commissioner 2. I'm a small business owner, educator, coach, mentor, lifetime Lincoln County resident. I'm running because I believe in leadership that is independent, transparent, and focused on real solutions for the people of this county. Right now, people are frustrated with everything that's going on, and it is a growing disconnect between government and public it serves. So I believe we need to improve the planning of the county in every aspect, whether it be meetings, whether it be public comment, whether it be just how we address things. It can't be partisan, which it feels that way right now. It's got to be responsive, efficient, and easier for people to work with at every level and every aspect of the government. My philosophy is simple: people first, accountability always. And that's what I'm going to be doing, is making sure relationships are number one.
Thank you. Good job. And Kristen.
The responsibility that most likely comes to people's minds is a commissioner's role on the board of commissioners as part of a decision-making body, a decision-making team, setting policy, adopting a balanced budget, doing county business such as contracts. But the part that I am most excited about as county commissioner is what I would say the bulk of the job, about 70% of the job, and that has three parts: serving as a liaison in the community, listening, communicating between the county and our community. Second is being an advocate and representing the county's interests at the state level, regionally, and even nationally, working with state legislators to bring money to our county, to make sure decision makers understand how their policies in Salem and DC are going to affect us. And third is as a convener and a partnership builder. I have over 20 years of experience doing this type of work, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, NOAA, and my own consulting business. I'm ready, I'm excited, and I'm, a slight bit nervous to jump in and serve you, our county, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move to your question. Once again, considering the challenge of county government is facing right now, what is your philosophy on how to nurture positive working relationships with your fellow commissioners, department heads, and other elected officials?
Dean Joe Steer didn't get to go. He's got his hand raised. He's for position 2 as well.
How did I miss his tag? Here it is. It's still in the bucket. I am so sorry, Joe.
Are you folks seeing my picture?
No,
Hi,
we are
Joe.
not.
Okay, it's out there in space, I guess, somewhere.
But I see your hand raised, and I truly
I was wondering if you were
apologize.
gonna.
Sorry
Anyway,
about that.
I'll do my 1 minute introduction thing here. So thank you to the League of Women Voters for offering this candidate forum, and then Joe Steer, running for Lincoln County Commissioner position 2. And then prior to committing to running for office, I having knowledge of what the county commissioner's duties used to be, and then researching what their current roles are, I plan to do, a minimum. It would take a minimum of 3 days a week, and then evenings of research, et cetera, et cetera. But I believe, and I don't see any reason why we can't get whoever the three are, why we can't get the commissioners back to being responsible for administrative oversight of the county departments and held accountable for those departments without elected officials to the public.
15 seconds.
And then how your tax dollars are taken care of. Commissioners have final budget control. Additionally, they advocate for state and federal money and programs to benefit Lincoln County and our state. So,
Thank
my
you.
prior experience is, I mean, is that a 30-second notice or is that a
No,
stop?
that's a stop now. You can get to it.
I'm stopping.
Okay. Well, why don't we move back to Eddie, and we'll start with the question for which you have 2 minutes. Considering the challenges county government is facing now, what's your philosophy on how to nurture positive working relationships with your fellow commissioners, department heads, and other elected officials? Eddie.
I believe strong county government starts with a simple idea: people first, politics second, and let's make county government boring again. It's got to stop being political. It's got to stop being divisive. That's it. Right now, I think too many people feel disconnected, like I said before, with county government. Employees, I've got a lot of friends that are employees, community members, and even people trying to get to work with the county on a lot of different subjects. And a lot of what I'm hearing is people don't listen. I mean, we had our own county DA say that one of the current commissioners doesn't listen or respond to her. So communicate early and treat people with respect. That's what we have to do. So I want to help. I'm going to build a culture that can speak openly, ask questions, work through disagreements professionally without fear and frustration, or not, if I ask questions, that it's not going to be listed as harassment or bullying. Because if you can't ask questions and you can't get, ask tough questions, how can we get anything done? So I also believe trust matters. So if we're listening and we're asking questions and we're genuine, there's going to be trust that's built. So people should know who's making decisions, why decisions are being made, and feel like their voice actually matters in this county. At the end of the day, my goal is simple: better communication, better leadership, and a better Lincoln County. So that's it. Eddie Townsend, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Joe Steer, let's go to you next. The question again, do you need me to repeat it?
No, that's all right. So,
Okay.
my what I've seen is that the county commissioners have kind of lost track of what their initial duties were, but it took me a while to find it because the county had not posted it, but they haven't posted any ordinances from 2018 to the present until just recently. But we need to take ordinance number 517, which established the county administrator, and we need to look at that and review it and make some amendments so there is a clear path on what the administrator does and then what happens if the administrator leaves, whether that's for a day, a week, a month, or whatever. And then with the administrative oversight that each of the commissioners is doing, they would be able to step into the administrative role when needed. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Kristen Dunn, let's have you go next. Unmute.
Thank you. So I have lots of experience in this area. I've worked with many teams and many communities up and down the Oregon coast. I think the most important thing is spending time with people, listening and getting to know each other. So that's spending time and listening with department heads, elected officials, county staff, and getting to know our commissioners, not discussing county business where decisions would be made, but just getting to know each other on a personal level. I think as a board of commissioners, a good place to start is agreeing upon some ground rules of how we're going to operate, how we're going to treat each other, how we're going to hold each other accountable, doing it in a respectful way. So I got ideas for that. I think that's a great place for a new board of commissioners to start. That's where we can start to build trust as a board, as a team. I think the other key is consistency. Having consistency with showing up, talking with staff, being available, consistency within Board of Commissions meetings. Another thing I'm very interested in doing is hosting listening and learning sessions throughout the county to hear from constituents, from people about how we can improve processes at the Board of Commissioners, how we can improve communications out to communities from the county, how we can improve internal systems from within based on feedback from county staff. I'm running to bring stability, service, and stewardship to our county government. I have the skills and experience to rebuild public trust, to support our county staff, to ensure our essential county services run reliably. Thank you.
Thank you. And Marcy.
Thank you. So my philosophy is the same philosophy that I have always led with in my businesses, which is everyone respects everyone. That is rule number one. And I believe in leading with high standards and expectations, and that people live up to those. My leadership style is relationship based, and I believe that our connections make us resilient. I believe in collaboration and listening to everyone, representing the staff and the team well, and always remembering that the least heard voices often have the most unique perspective that the majority doesn't see. We have to remember public confidence is key, and the public has a key role in the relationships and decision-making that government approaches. I'm an outcome-focused person, and I believe that's what is measured grows. And as an employer and leader, I care about how and why people show up to work, how people feel when they're coming in, and how they feel in accomplishing the goals that we're all working towards together. I think that matters immensely. We have to prioritize morale, because the statistics around a positive environment on your team and everyone collaborating are exponential in productivity and efficiency. So I believe that when we all play to our strengths, we do our best work. And I'm very good and experienced at identifying and honoring people's individual strengths.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move now to position 3. This isn't a major name drawing. There's only 2 of you for this one. So, Walter Chuck, how about you go first with your opening statement, and then we'll trade off.
Sure. Thank you, Jean, for hosting, and League of Women Voters for putting this on this event. Walter Chuck, I've been your Lincoln County Commissioner for the last 14 months. Prior to that, I was a commissioner for the Port of Newport. My job as a county commissioner, I would say it's between 30 and 50 hours a week at least, whether that's going to meetings, meeting with the community members, just being out in the community. I think your number one priority for the county as a commissioner is that you're the advocate for the county. You oversee the budget, make policy, do property transactions such as real estate. You have 2 employees. You have the county council. You have the county administrator. The reason I think I'm the best person for this job is I've built numerous relationships with local, city, state, and tribal members to do the best work that I can for the members of the community. And I look forward to looking for projects that I can bring to the county to get those completed and get out in the community and meet the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Curtis Landers.
Thank you. I am Curtis Landers. I have served 37 years with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, including 20 years in leadership and 8 years as your elected sheriff. I completed the FBI National Academy, the Oregon State Sheriff's Association Command College, and over 3,600 hours in public safety and leadership training. With the county administrator position, the role of county commissioners focuses on setting policy and direction through strategic planning, goals and objectives, establishing priorities, approving budgets, and working closely with the county administrator to provide those resources and support to our department heads and county elected officials that serve our communities. It's a full-time commitment for a county commissioner that requires listening to the public, building relationships, and working together to solve problems. My experience leading complex operations and overseeing the sheriff's office budget has prepared me well to help guide county priorities. Most importantly, I'm running to help restore stability, cooperation, and open communication so county government can move forward for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. And Curtis, why don't you stay unmuted and go ahead and start with question 1, which was considering the challenges of county government is facing right now. What's your philosophy of how to nurture positive working relationships with your fellow commissioners, department heads, and elected officials?
Thank you. Yeah, I've watched this situation develop since I was sheriff over a year ago. And it really started, I think, with a lack of cooperation and communication. Communication is key in this. We have to be able to talk. That's not just among commissioners, but it starts there. It starts at meetings with commissioners, letting other commissioners provide their input on certain topics. But it also goes to department heads and elected officials. When an issue comes up, they need to be able to come to the commissioners and provide input on that. And that wasn't happening. So communication is absolutely the number one thing. What that does, it builds trust. It builds trust that you're going to be heard regardless of what the situation is or what the conflict is. You're going to be heard, and that builds trust. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with everything. I hope you don't agree. That's why we have 3 commissioners, so that if there is a disagreement, you're going to get all the perspectives on an issue so that you can make a good decision and then move forward as a consolidated board. If it didn't get voted your way, well, that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes it's going to happen that way, and other times it's not. And sometimes all 3 of you are going to agree and move forward. Leadership is so important at that level. I had leadership in the sheriff's office. I worked through conflict at the sheriff's office from the time I walked in the door all the way up to when I left. The sheriff's office deals with conflict. I've been good at dealing with conflict, and that's because going back to communication, everyone has a say. In our leadership team meetings, we always allowed everyone to get their perspective out, because sometimes, regardless if I was a leader or not, I wanted to hear all the opinions so that we can make a good decision and move forward from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Walter.
Can you repeat the question, Jean, please?
Yes. Considering the challenges that county government is facing right now, what is your philosophy of how to nurture positive working relationships with your fellow commissioners, department heads, and other elected officials?
I would say, number one, you go out and meet them where they are. That would be attending city council meetings, meeting with the mayors, meeting with our state officials, Representative Gomberg, Senator Anderson, Representative Hoyle, Senators Merkley and Wyden when they come to town, having good communications with their staff, basically going out and talking to them, and also going to Port Commission meetings, talking to those members. And as far as inside the county, realizing that you are just one commissioner, you have to make sure that you work as a team. And once decisions are made, you support those decisions going forward. Meeting with department heads, meeting with other elected officials that run departments, having close relationships with your finance department. I think that's the number one issue that we're looking at right now is, we're going through the budget decisions. There's going to be decisions and discussions with those. So if you don't have good relationships with those departments and those people, it's going to be hard when you have to start talking about your budget. And then doing a better job of communicating to the public, making better use of our PIO and getting our news out there and let people know what we're doing at the county. I think a lot of the things that we can do is be better communicators of what we're actually doing and what we're accomplishing.
Thank you. I'm going to briefly make an announcement before we move to the second question. For those of you watching your forum, you should use the Q&A feature in your Zoom to submit questions rather than chat. There's a Q&A feature. League volunteers will relay a limited number of questions to the candidates as time permits. So there is someone on this end receiving those if you place a question in the Q&A. All right, moving to question 2, we're going to begin with the candidates for position 2. And in this order, Kristen Don, Joe Steer, Marcy Baker, and Eddie Townsend. So the question number 2 is, what are the primary economic forces in Lincoln County? How would you balance economic forces with maintaining quality of life for Lincoln County residents? Kristen.
Right, think on the spot here. So economic forces, think housing affordability, access to health services, strong schools, diversified economy with lots of different types of jobs, workforce training. What was the second part of the question, Jean?
How would you balance the economic forces with maintaining quality of life for Lincoln County residents?
Sure. I don't see them as mutually exclusive. I think they're coupled. So providing things such as having lots of housing, affordable housing options is going to draw more of a stable workforce, thriving businesses. Let's see, what's the other? Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not quite sure I totally understand the question, but I think we'll leave it there for now. Thank
Okay, did you need me to repeat it? Oh,
you.
okay,
Sure. That's okay. It's fine.
okay. Joe Steer, you're up next. What are the primary economic forces in Lincoln County? And how would you balance at those economic forces with maintaining the quality of life for Lincoln County residents? Joe?
Yeah, it appears that one of the main economic forces anymore is actually the income that retired folks get, but that doesn't really relate to money that the county's getting except via their property taxes. Then, of course, the fishing, same thing. It's got to go into property taxes, so they've got to own a home or own property somewhere. The timber industry and the mill pay a large amount of money. So, how do you balance all that? I think a lot of it is just good quality homes being built, and taking the old ones, building them up, increasing the value of what we have, when we have that opportunity. And otherwise, new homes, new apartments, it all kind of adds to the part of the economy that the county can utilize to provide services to the members. It's not much more you can do than that with the limited amount of income sources we have, unless you get really good grant writers, and which we do have. So,
Thank you. Marcy Baker, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
sorry.
What are the primary economic forces in Lincoln County? And how would you balance economic forces with maintaining the quality of life for Lincoln County residents?
Thank you. So the primary economic drivers in Lincoln County are tourism, which leads with food and beverage and lodging, followed by our fishing and timber industries. And we have quite a bit also of health, higher education, research, and other general economic drivers. I think balancing with quality of life means, for me, comes back to stewardship. And stewardship means taking care of what we already have and what has made us who we are today, and ensuring it's there for the future. So this means stewardship of our existing economic industries in a way that is balanced with our existing workforce. I think economic growth should build upon our strengths, and our local character and natural resources are some of our greatest assets. So I support policies that balance conservation with recreation, encourage environmental tourism, and attract industries that strengthen the businesses that are already here. I believe in identifying complementary industries that would allow our existing industries to grow. One of the things I'm quite passionate about and have a lot of ideas around that tie to community resiliency as well is local food production and agriculture, micro farming, specialty food production, co-packaging. And we have a lot of very exciting things already happening in the county in these areas. So I see that as a great opportunity for improving quality of life and health and wellness as well in our community.
Thank you. Eddie Townsend. Do you want to speak to the economic forces in Lincoln County and how you balance economic forces and maintaining quality of life for our citizenry?
I think the main forces is tourism, housing, market pressure, construction and development, industry, and the list goes on. But I think the number one thing that we can do, and number two, and that I'm going to That is, I'm going into the planning department and I just really question what is going on. If you right now there is a poll out that is Chris Carlson and it's about what is going on in the planning department. There's too much red tape. They're completely all in the
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble with my screen. Who's speaking at the moment?
I think I just dropped, but I'm back.
Okay, all right.
Hey,
That
sorry
was you.
about that.
All right,
But
good.
where I was at is I've got friends that are contractors. That I've got a friend that runs a lumber company, and there is complaint after complaint about the county shutting down growth in housing. It's the number one thing outside of clearing out what's going on in the commissioner's authority right now. That is the number one thing I want to go into, because once we can clear out, like, hey, if you have a project where you want to build an ADU, I think ADUs, we're the last county that is not allowing ADUs to be built within the county. That is crazy. We need to clear out ADU building all over the county. That's number one. Number two, we need to see, hey, Ano, how many permits are we allowing right now? Okay. And I want to talk to all those guys and say, we need to, instead of restrict access, we need to just allow access to building permits. Why? Well, that will drive tax revenue, which is one of our main economic drivers within the county commission. And then it'll maybe fix the housing affordability problem. And we've got to also go to the state and say, hey, you've got TC land and ag land. We need to open some of that land up to maybe R10 or R5 so we can get more housing. And we need to allow TC land. We need to allow our interpretation of that within our planning commission to build single family homes. That's where I'm at.
Thanks. Okay, we'll go to position number 3 for that question. Walter and then Curtis. What are the primary economic forces in Lincoln County, and how would you balance economic forces with maintaining quality of life for Lincoln County residents?
Okay, I would say we have three main drivers right now. We have tourism, commercial fishing, and natural resources industry, and then we also have a lot of science people here, and of course retired people. What we would do is to make sure that we keep those jobs here, do what we can to make sure that those jobs stay here. We have an aging fishing fleet. We need to make sure that some of the younger fishermen have access to those boats and they can continue bringing that product in. Doing some responsible timber harvest, continue to do that. Make sure that we don't have regulations that don't allow that industry to be curtailed. And tourism, making sure that we do tourism responsibly, bring people here. We love having the people here. Make sure that we bring them here and they are able to enjoy themselves. But we also need to balance that with affordable housing. We would need to continue partnering with the state, federal government, and cities to make sure that we can have affordable housing. We need to make sure that the teachers that are in our schools, that's a quality of life thing, have a place to live. Make sure that the doctors and nurses that work in our community and take care of our members have good places to live. That also goes to other industries, members at GP. Every large employer needs to be sure that they can have employees that are able to live here. And then also look for new things. I'm a big supporter of what's going on out there at the PacWave site. Looking forward to seeing what goes out there for marine renewable energy, blue economy sector, and then the 100% fish usage. I think that's a really interesting thing we can bring to the county and bring some different types of revenue in.
Thank you. Curtis?
Thank you. So as it's been mentioned, the tourism, the timber, fishing, we really need to look at how we're supporting those items, and also small businesses, I think, are so crucial to everything we're trying to accomplish here as those driving factors. The retirement income also coming here. We have a large retirement population that provides a lot of tax dollars to to Lincoln County. We need to make sure that they have the resources and the services necessary. So we need to support those small businesses. We need to support healthcare. We need to support the schools to make sure that everything's functioning properly. The Board of Commissioners don't oversee some of those areas, but it's those partnerships and relationships that really help drive to improve that quality of life. And then that comes down to housing, really a balanced housing approach to see how we can get growth, because growth is the one thing that we're really lacking in Lincoln County to sustain those economic drivers that are providing us with the resources here, because we don't have that growth. We need to really meet with our realtors, meet with our builders, look at the plan, and really approach this with a good balance of how we can grow. We heard recently that our population is not growing. Newport declined recently in the city. And if you're a declining population, you don't have any growth in your community. So you need to look at those red flags to start figuring out what is wrong. And that's really where county commissioners can come in handy to do it. Develop a strategic plan so you can identify what needs to be done and take those appropriate actions with the partnerships you developed. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go now to position 1 to answer that question. Pardon me. Beginning with Kathy Rigby this time. The question again was, what are the primary economic forces in Lincoln County, and how would you balance economic forces with maintaining quality of life for our residents?
I believe the last economic report included the top 3 industries of tourism and all the service-related businesses that go with that industry, commercial fishing and fish processing, and then a combination of the healthcare workers, education, and government workers in our community. So those were the top economic forces. So the way to maintain a balance between those forces and the quality of life is to have proper infrastructure focus. Our county needs to make sure that we're maintaining both the physical and the human infrastructure that allows us to sustain the workforce that's needed to funnel to these industries. Much of the complaints in the community are because we don't have the qualified workforce, or if we do receive qualified workforce, that they don't stay in community, or it's difficult for them to stay in community. So the infrastructure that's needed is not only housing, training and education, and support and skill building, so that the workforce is here, so that they can stay here in community and continue to bolster these economic forces. We also need to increase our ability to funnel resources so that we can accomplish these things and have the economic mobility that the folks in these industries can achieve. So that means things like improving transportation, and also making sure that we're building all of the facilities that we need to maintain this increased community. Thank you.
Nicole? Nicole? Did we lose her? We'll come back. Casey, why don't you go next?
Thanks, Gene. Yeah, well, everybody's highlighted that, our main sectors are those transfer payments, tourism, and natural resources. And when you look at the county service profile, really fundamentally, we facilitate to different degrees each of those sectors. But what we really need deep work on is a strategic plan to really define how each of our departments dips into those sectors, for example. So that is something we are long overdue for creating, is a strategic plan. And then, commissioners do have some agency. You've heard candidates talk about the work that we do. For example, I'm on the Northwest Workforce Investment Board, and that's one way outwardly we can pull levers, if you will, in those industries. But really what we need to do is do a good snapshot. We've got the economic study, that's great, but how does that really intersect county services? And we really need metrics. We need to define those things, so then we can work with our department heads and look where they can innovate and generate revenues in those areas. So I think that analysis internally will help give us a better idea of how we can then stimulate the kinds of catalyzing forces that are needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Drew, let's go with you next.
Yes, the driving forces of the economy have already been identified. And what we do need to work on is our infrastructure. We need to make sure that our healthcare is taken care of, mental health, low-income housing, essential services. We also need to go after resources in order to bring funding for these types of projects in and build on other infrastructure. That's why people are leaving. I know I live in Lincoln City or Lincoln County, just outside of Lincoln City. And we've had teachers who can't accept positions because they can't find housing. We've had nurses and doctors who can't find housing. And we have to solve that problem in order to keep people here. Also, people can't afford to live here, so the families are moving away. So the schools in Lincoln City are going to lose funding because they're losing their numbers. This is what needs to be addressed by the Board of Commissioners. We need to figure out a way to balance everything so that we bring in good paying union jobs so that people can afford to live here. Otherwise, they're just going to move away and you're going to have a decreasing population and your infrastructure is not adequate now to meet the needs of the county residents. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to doing is building that infrastructure in, replacing the dam, getting a wastewater treatment plant, whatever is needed to keep it here and keep the citizens happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole, you're back. Did you need the question repeated? You're muted, Nicole. Nicole, let's go to Sherry and then see if we've got your sound back. Sherry?
We all recognize the economic drivers, where the jobs are, our blue economy, education, our federal workforce, healthcare, fishing. But the county's serious housing shortage at all levels compromises our economy. And that's not just a quality of life issue. It's an economic crisis. We don't have a business problem. We have a workforce and housing problem. Businesses can't hire and retain workers when there's nowhere affordable to live. So the county needs to remove barriers where we can, zoning, permitting, and land use. Where we can, we need to examine that, and we need to coordinate with our cities. We have a dynamic that many communities don't face, which is our second homes and seasonal properties that sit empty for a large portion of the year. And we have workers who can't find rentals. So I think that maybe we need to look at incentivizing long-term rentals, whether that's through transient lodging tax policy or the Lincoln County Housing Authority. A property sitting empty for 6 months a year while a nurse or a teacher drives an hour to work or more is a policy failure that we can try to address. As for housing, I know how federal funding works, and I know how to bring people together around a project or initiative, and I would make that a priority.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole, are you with us? I don't see you on the screen anymore. Okay, we're going to try to find Nicole and we'll come back to this question if we need to.
Hello? I don't know what's going on. I had video and audio and it's gone. Okay, well, I am going to give you to Jean and she's going to let you speak through my phone, okay? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's okay. Here we go.
All right, we will give this a try. The question is, what are the primary economic forces in Lincoln County, and how would you balance economic forces with maintaining the quality of life for Lincoln County residents? Let's see if you can come through here. Hello? No, we lost the phone connection too. All right, I'm going to let her work on that and we'll come back to it.
So Dave sent her a request
Okay.
and she refused it. So I'm trying to call her by phone to see. Just
Okay, we're going to come back to her when we get the technical details worked out. Right now, we're moving back on to question number 3, and we're going to have position number 3 address that first. So let's start with Curtis and followed by Walter. In your opinion, what is the number one most critical issue that will require the commissioner's immediate attention?
Thank you. The number one issue is absolutely getting cooperation again with the Board of Commissioners. Before you do that, nothing's moving. We haven't seen anything move in several months. And, they need to put a third person in there to help with that so that they don't have to both agree on everything. Because like I mentioned earlier, sometimes one person or two people might not agree on an issue, and that's okay. You need to move forward. But with two people having to agree on every topic that right now don't agree on much, it's very difficult. So, and I don't know how it's going to happen since they don't agree to put somebody in there, or if they will or not. But getting that cooperation back is number one. Again, it takes communication, it takes leadership, it takes someone to give a little bit and someone else to take a little bit. It really is just getting in there and talking, letting them talk, hash this out. The one thing that I've seen happen over the last few months is without the lack of talking all the way down to the public now, not even talking is that things are festering, things are growing, things are just getting worse and not getting better. And I think that we need to turn that direction around so that the commissioners can start moving forward and addressing a lot of things that all the candidates have talked about tonight as priorities for Lincoln County. We can't achieve that without moving forward. Once that is accomplished, and we start working together as a team, the commissioners should be able to work on strategic planning, work on budgeting, getting that communication out so that they can start solving a number of problems that this county is going to have and forecasted to have. Forecasting is another one with the budget we really need to work on. And that's something that, again, solving that first part is critical, and then we can move forward and really work on the issues that are facing Lincoln County to take us into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And Walter, question number 3, in your opinion, what's the number one most critical issue that will require the commissioner's immediate attention?
I would say right now be focusing on the budget. We are coming up. This is my first whole time with the budget, and I can say that we are looking at some difficulties coming up with the uncertainty of federal funding coming in. The state's looking at a little less money coming in. That means less money coming to the state or coming to the county. Our budget is basic. Our budget is less than half of it is general funds, and that is money that comes in from people's taxes, rates, and fees. So the rest of that money is transfer payments, whether that's through road money, state or federal money. We're looking at some healthcare shortages coming up with HR 1 being passed. HHS, Health and Human Services, is our largest department. Much of their funding, almost all of their funding, comes from state and federal monies. If those are going to be reduced, we need to make sure that we provide services for the county. That's one of the main things that we do as a county is provide services for our residents. If we are not able to make sure that we can budget for those services, I think we need to make sure that we do. That's incumbent on us. So I think the number one thing we need to be working on right now is working on our budget, making sure that we can continue to provide services with the outlook on that those funds coming in is not being certain. So I think our budgetary concerns are the main issue we should be looking at, whether that's the commissioners or department heads or elected officials with departments.
Thank you. Nicole, do we have you now? You're muted. Nicole, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll move now to the 4 candidates for position number 2. I know there's a lot of people and it's a little bit complicated to keep track of who's running for which one, but we'll try to make that clear to everybody. So number 3 question is, in your opinion, what is the number 1 most critical issue that will require the commissioner's immediate attention? And we'll begin with Marcy Baker.
All right. I believe the number 1 most critical issue to be addressed by the county commission is clarity and agreement around the county's workflow. And I believe the county's business is the people's business, and the people have a place in that workflow. I would approach this challenge with 2 distinct parts. First is restoring the organizational clarity and alignment around the governance roles, including the current administrative structure and delegation of authority, specifically Ordinance 517 and the administrative delegation it implemented. It's past due for review by the board. Additionally, the prolonged vacancy in the county administrator position without a dedicated interim person adds a complex workload to existing staff and potentially collapses roles that under normal circumstances are intentionally kept separate. Second is ensuring that the public is welcomed and encouraged to engage with their government and understands when and how they are able to engage on the decisions that impact them. Currently, the public is unable to speak directly to their governing body unless it is a required public hearing, which is limited to the topic of that hearing. I think we need to meet people where they are and seek to understand the barriers and always remember who isn't in the room. We need to have 2-way communication opportunities, both public and one-on-one. We need to make it a priority to value local wisdom and let people know that we need to hear from them.
30 seconds.
Thank you. We should be including everyone who wants to participate and create more doorways and be welcoming and create a sense of belonging. So I would support prioritizing immediate evaluation of the roles that govern the Board of Commissioners, its members, meetings, and agenda procedures, along with review of the public comment rules, procedures, and processes, and an evaluation of Ordinance 517. And my idea is that that ordinance should potentially be reviewed every time there's a new commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen Dunn.
Thank you. I see the greatest issue facing our county is restoring stability within our county government and restoring public trust. Stability really is the foundation for the county providing reliable services, for sound budgeting, for strong partnerships, and a community that feels heard and supported. So this is going to require steady leadership that supports our county staff, strengthens communication. And this, I agree with that. This work is really urgent now because our county is going to be facing some serious budget challenges, especially with losses in state and federal funding, particularly to our Health and Human Services Department. So navigating these challenges is going to require a cohesive community and steady county government. I do see that there is a lot of room for improvement with the formal public process, which is the Board of Commission meetings. We need to improve those processes, strengthen that system. We need to create more opportunities for real dialogue between the community and the commissioners. So finding ways to do that, bringing county government to the people. Not everyone should have to always come to Newport to the county courthouse to provide input, to have a face-to-face interaction with county commissioners. There also needs to be improvement within the county of just internal communications. And then also the 2 critical staff positions that need to be filled, the county administrator and the head of Health and Human Services. We need that stability for long-term planning, to get us our budgets on track, to help us weather these challenging financial times we're going to be facing the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you. Eddie Townsend, your number 1 critical issue.
Yeah, I like to just speak in layman's terms. I think speech has been stifled. I don't know how there isn't live meetings right now when 2 commissioners haven't agreed. We were at the DA forum on Saturday, and Jenna Wallace said that her and Commissioner Casey Miller did not know who was in control of the county. That's an issue. When you're there are only two people that were there that were duly elected. It was Commissioner Miller and it was Jenna Wallace. I respect that Walter Chuck is here, but my question is, how in the world do we have a meeting that should be live and should have public comment be shut down to where it's virtual, and we change meeting rules to where they can't have public comment? So I can't even have public comment as a commissioner candidate if I wanted to. Who made that decision? That's my question. And I think that's a lot of people's question. Who made that decision? Walter is here. Did he make the decision? Casey's here. I've already talked to him. He didn't make the decision. They didn't agree upon it. I know that. So who made the decision? And why I'm bringing this topic up, because it is the baseline. It is the foundation of what we need to fix. Number one is we need to figure out, and I mean, I think a lot of people know, I'm not going to speak to it right now, but who is in control right now? Who is the person that goes to the county sheriff and says, I need you to lock Casey Miller out of this building and remove his key card access? Who does that? And who does and why does the sheriff say, do you have this authority? And those people say, yes, we have the authority. How is that possible? How does somebody have the higher authority than the county commissioners? That's my question. And that would be my number one issue, because if you don't know who's in control of the county, if your duly elected commissioners are not in control of the county, then there is what I would say is something like a dark side to the county government. And that is why I have a ton of friends that work within the county government that are not willing
to wrap up
speak
now.
up. So what I would say, the number one thing is to find out who's in control, who has grabbed control of the county, and take it back. That's my number one thing.
Okay. We're going to try to do Nicole by speakerphone.
Give me just a second while we figure out some technical challenges here. We can be ready now. We're going now back to position number 1. And I believe that we are going to have Nicole available by phone. So we're going to give her a chance to answer question number 2, and then we'll pose question number 3 in a different order.
Hello.
Nicole, you're available.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I am returning to question number 2, and we'll give you a shot at that before we start through question number 3. That question.
Is that the question about the economy and the
balancing with the quality of life? Yes.
Okay, perfect. First of all, my apologies, you guys. But second of all, there is a direct correlation between the economy and quality of life. We are dependent here on seasonal work, tourism, but we also are dependent on things like fishing and hunting, which also are seasonal. You can't sustain an economy based on only seasonal business. So we need to really focus on reducing taxes and regulations and bringing new businesses and new industries to Lincoln City, which means that we have to have a more business-friendly approach to business. We have to roll back some of our taxes. We need to roll back some of our regulations so that we can make our environment more friendly to more businesses, so we can increase the amount of money people are making, and so that will increase their quality of life. Because if you don't have money and you're depressed, if you can't pay your bills, you're not doing well, your quality of life is not good. There's a direct correlation, and we need to do more to bring new businesses, better businesses, businesses that are higher quality with more benefits, that pay better, and that are not just dependent on the summer.
Okay, thank you. If you could stay on the line, we're going to the position number 1 candidates to answer question number 3, which is, in your opinion, what is the number 1 most critical issue that will require the commissioner's immediate attention? I'd like to begin with Kathy Rigby.
Joe Steer has his hand raised. I'm not sure if he was skipped.
Did I get, thank you. Joe, I don't know how to apologize. I got so involved with our technical glitches here. You didn't get a chance at number 3, is that right?
Correct.
I
So-
apologize for that, and please go ahead.
I will try to make it quick as normal. The main reason I'm running is because of the disarray with the commissioner's office and the commission staff at this time. No clear leadership. I believe I started out with a plan of how to solve that. It shouldn't take that much time or effort. No problem working with any commissioners and just outline it. Part of it is that 517. And like I said, when I first started running, I could not find 517 because it had not been posted, but it is now. The budget, of course, is the next big priority. And then some of the complaints that are coming in about some of the different departments would be probably the third thing to take on. And then from there, we can go on. But the top 3 are get the commission office functioning. Second is start working on the budgets hard. And third, we can start working on maybe getting some of the departments a little more friendly with the residents. And I can say the planning department has a lot of complaints. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, and again, my apologies. You get to go first when we get to closing statements, so I won't forget you.
I better get my cheat sheet out then.
Sorry. All right, going back to question number 3, and Kathy, I believe it was your turn. The number 1 critical issue.
Yeah, so I believe the number 1 critical issue for the county right now is to have an action-ready Board of Commissioners. So there are a few things impacting that, but when we have critical things like lack of funding, we have emergency management, and we have dire community circumstances like increased homelessness, lack of affordable housing, and critical services that we have to provide, it's important that we have an action-ready Board of Commissions, which means all of our positions need to be filled. So we need to get our county administrator position filled. We need to get our vacant commissioner seat filled. So filling key vacancies in department heads would also be important, so that everybody can be ready to fulfill their commitments, do the job of exercising the priorities of the county, be ready to act on behalf of the community. And so I believe that's, sorry, I'm not sure what that is. Do you want me to just?
Okay, I think we're okay. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so
some technical challenges here too.
So I believe getting those vacancies filled is important. Also, making sure that those in the vacancies are ready to fulfill their duties, have the experience necessary, so that they can meet the challenges that are facing the county overall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Casey Miller, you're up next.
Yes, thank you very much, Jean. Well, I'm so glad that this question is being asked. It really is the restoration of the authority to the boards. I mean, imagine asking your fellow commissioner if he'll meet with your finance director to discuss your department budget and he says no. Imagine asking your fellow commissioner if he'll discuss public comment with you and why public comment has been removed and he says no. Imagine requesting to your human resources director to discuss strategic planning with your management team and he tells you you can't attend that meeting. If you look back at all of my agenda requests for a year and a half, and only recently have we seen the subject of agenda topics, you'll see all these aspirations that everybody's talking about that I've requested for over a year and a half. But what have I had to do? Hire an attorney to defend my ability to do what you all aspirationally want to do. It's been tremendously frustrating. It's unbelievable that I'm even in the position that I'm in. But I have tried to be collaborative. I have tried to work with these individuals. And really, it's about the board and its willingness to recognize its own authority. That is what needs to be restored. Because really, when you request information like who is performing these duties and you literally don't get an email back, you know you've got a problem. So authority of the board, the ability of the board to govern is the first thing that everybody's going to have to contend with, or many of these things won't happen at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Drew Earls, same question.
The number one immediate need of the Board of Commissioners is the budget. Personality differences don't matter. The business of the county comes first. And if you can't put your differences aside and do what you got to do to be able to go to meetings, then you shouldn't be in the office. We have a lot of things that need to be done for the residents in Lincoln County that are not getting done at the moment. And there's reasons for that, which I'm not even going to go into. Everybody knows what they are. But the budget is number one. And we need to work on that and actively look at funding through lottery, state, federal, in order to get the resources that we need in order to make the people's lives better here in Lincoln County. So the budget is number one. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole, let's go back to you. We got her on the phone?
Nicole, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. So I believe the most important thing is the budget as well, but it's not that we don't have the money. Lincoln County doesn't have a income problem, we have a spending problem, and we have left billions of dollars at the federal level. So we would not be understaffed, we would not be underfunded, and we would not be in this problem if Lincoln County and the state of Oregon had not decided that we were going to be a sanctuary city. We cannot pay the staff that we need to run our own county because our own county decided that we are last. This problem does not need to be what it is. We can take that money from the federal government, we can fund the departments that we need, and then we need to move to unity. Right now, our community, our commissioners, we are all divided. Neighbors cannot get along, they do not trust each other, and that starts with leadership. Leadership needs to create an environment where neighbors feel like they can trust each other rather than creating a divisive environment for us to sort of, I don't know, fight amongst one another all the time, which we're seeing all over the Facebook, we're seeing inside of our communities. So first we need to start with the economy, we need to take federal monies, and then we need to lead in a positive, unifying way.
Thank you. And Sherry Brubaker.
Thank you. We need to restore trust across the board, between the commissioners, with elected officials, with staff, and with the public. The county's been without a permanent administrator for over a year. One of my first priorities would be working with the board to define clear roles and responsibilities so that staff have clarity, accountability is established, and the commissioners can focus on policy rather than the day-to-day management. From there, recruiting and hiring a permanent administrator to restore the structure that allows the government to function well for everyone. The county has a number of lawsuits and investigations pending. These must run their course. As commissioner, I will examine every issue carefully, ask the right questions, and make decisions based on complete information and what is in the best interest of the people of Lincoln County.
Thank you. We're moving now to closing statements, and to try to help everybody understand which position is which. I will start with position 3, then position 2, and position 1. Each of you have 30 seconds for a closing statement. And so we are going to begin with the 2 candidates for position 3, which are Curtis Landers and Walter Chuck. Let's start with you, Curtis, and then Walter.
Thank you, Jean. I want to again thank you again to the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum. Lincoln County is facing important challenges, including housing, public safety, economic stability, and making sure county government is working effectively for the people it serves. After 37 years serving this community, I understand how county government should work and how important communication and relationships are to getting things done. I'm running to bring steady leadership, common sense, and accountability back to the Board of Commissioners, and I'd appreciate your vote for Lincoln County Commissioner, position number 3.
Thank you. Walter?
Thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this. And what I'll be looking forward to doing is continuing to doing my job. I will be focusing on making sure that our budget comes out good. I think the number one responsibility we have to our public is making sure their money is well spent. I look forward to bringing some projects such as the Toledo Exchange that I just got put on the priorities list for ODOT and other things to benefit the community and bring good things back here for the residents of Lincoln County. I appreciate your vote. WalterForLincolnCounty.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, our candidates for position number 2. I lost the first name all of a sudden. Marcy Baker, Kristen Dunn, Joe Steer, and Eddie Townsend. Sorry about that little brain blip there. I'm going to begin with Joe Steer in your closing comments.
Okay, thank you. Closing comment, I bring to this position the basic knowledge needed. I've done 30 some years. I won't say how many exactly of working on yearly budgets, 5-year budgets, 20-year plans, 50-year plans, laid out many contracts, worked with crew. Some of the crew was pretty rough. Some of them might have even visited Mr. Landers for a night or two. But I'm the only candidate that started out with a plan of how to get the county commission functioning. And that's where I'm going to stand. Thank you to the League of Women Voters.
Thank you. Eddie Townsend, your closing statement. 30 seconds.
Eddie Townsend running for Lincoln County Commissioner, seat 2. I think we just want to get out of the confusion, get out of the disconnection, get out of the conflict. And I'm running because I believe leadership's willing to, I'm going to bring something that's willing to challenge what isn't working, stabilize what matters, help make county government boring again in the best way possible, professional, functional, responsive. My focus is simple: less unnecessary red tape, better communication, stronger accountability, and practical solutions that help Lincoln County move forward. I'd be honored to garner your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Dunn.
I've been really enjoying being out, meeting, listening, talking to people, community groups, and county staff and elected officials. I've been at 15 Meet the Candidate events over the last couple months to hear what your priorities are, what your concerns are, and what you're looking for in a commissioner. I'd love to meet and hear from you. I've got 5 upcoming events within the next week in Toledo, Newport, and Yachats. Please also feel free to reach out to me via my website, electkristendon.com. There's a button at the bottom to contact me, shoot me an email. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity to share and appreciate your engagement in this important voting process. Thank you.
Thank you. And Marcy Baker.
Thank you. I am deeply invested in our community and am already a part of the team doing the work. I'm dedicated to taking on more responsibility and have yet to reach my capacity for service. I have experience with 3 city manager hiring processes last year and bring experience of the importance of a structured process. I'm a bridge between sectors and bring a depth of knowledge around our rural coastal dynamics, tourism, economic realities, localized emergency preparedness, hazard mitigation, and housing pressures. My experience in financial planning, budget execution, managing cash flow grants, loans, growth, unexpected damages, crises.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a lot of experience I bring to the table, and I'd be excited and honored to be your county commissioner.
And then moving on to the position number 1, for which there are 6 candidates, actually. Carter McEntee, who was not here this evening, Casey Miller, Sherry Brubaker, Nicole Moody, Drew Earls, and Kathy Rigby. Let's begin with Casey Miller.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you for this opportunity tonight to move forward. Staff, Board of Commissioners, community, and our interjurisdictional partners all need to move together as a cohesive whole. And the way we do that is by having the conversations, by presenting the facts, by having the data together and collaborating on all of that. That is how we can move together in unison, and I'm committed to making that happen moving forward, and I want everybody to come along for the ride. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry Brubaker.
Lincoln County needs a reset to rebuild public trust and to get back to work. I'm running on my record in this community. I'm Sherry Brubaker, and I'm asking for your vote. Vote for Sherry.com. Call me. I want to hear from you. Thank you.
Do we have Nicole?
Nicole?
I'm here.
Nicole Moody, your closing statement, 30 seconds.
Okay. I want to see a thriving, united Lincoln County. My vision is to obtain these goals by listening, learning, collaborating, and implementing systems that support this vision. That means listening to the people, working with peers, department heads, and implementing systems that support a positive, thriving community. We can grow our economy and create an environment that inspires unity and positivity as long as we do it together.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes the formal questions that we had available, and very good job staying on track here, even with all of the little glitches that we had. I think we do still. Did I miss? Oh, I'm so sorry, Kathy.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, this is a real challenge, making sure everybody gets hit on a screen this wide.
There's a lot of us, I can understand. Thank you for this opportunity to the League of Women Voters. I'm running because Lincoln County is where I found community, purpose, and a sense of belonging. And I want others in this community to feel that same way. I think we can help shape a community that serves everyone in it. And I want every resident, no matter their background, income, or zip code, to feel seen, supported, and valued by their county government. I want to listen to what the community needs are, and I want to participate in using my experience to shape the next couple of years for the county and to have a community that serves everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Drew Earls, your closing statement.
I wanted to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here tonight. I'm running because I'm tired of all this stuff. I've always worked in the private sector. I've been 40 years of experience in management. I've been very successful in business. I have the most education of anybody running, and I will do the most good for the residents of Lincoln County. And I'm asking for your vote, and I'm asking you to recruit 5 of your friends to vote for me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I miss anyone in the closing statement? Okay. And I want to thank the team here behind me who's helping me shuffle all of these things and figure out where I missed something. But because we did stay on track pretty well, we've had 3 questions submitted, and so we're going to take an opportunity to do a short Q&A, giving you about 30 seconds for each one, and I want everyone to answer the same question. So I decided to reshuffle all of the names and put them in alphabetical order, like they are on the voters pamphlet and such. So I'd try not to miss anybody. So beginning with position 1, question number 1, concerning environmental protection, what role did the candidate play in that sort of activity, and is climate change impacting the county? Sherry Brubaker.
I think that it's very clear that Lincoln County is being affected by climate change, the flooding, the extreme ice storms, we've got the threat of a seismic event, as well as some other kind of emergency. And so we need to take action before we have to respond to something like that. I do know that Lincoln City has been very active with its climate initiative lately. And I think that the county needs to look at where that work is being done rather than try to reinvent the wheel. The work is happening. We need to work together with people who are already on the ground doing that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, I try to let everyone finish their thought, but
30 seconds goes fast.
It does. Drew Earls, environmental protection question.
Most of my research in academia was in environmental research, and we are being affected not only by Lincoln County, the whole United States is being affected by climate change. And we need to do what we can to bring positive impact so that we limit the effect of environmental impact on our county through using underground resources, the little turbines that generate energy in the ocean that are renewable and friendly to the environment. And that's what I want to see happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Casey Miller.
Yes, thank you. One of the things that I spearheaded was an internal climate action plan. And one of the first things we did was engage our county employees with their expertise to develop a county climate action plan, because before we go outward and tell people what they should be doing, we need to demonstrate it within. What is our government's commitment to addressing climate change? That's in progress. It hasn't quite developed as far as I'd like it to, but it's still on the menu. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole Moody.
So I'm just going to be very honest. Climate change is not a priority for me. I am concerned about the environment, but I'm more concerned with the economy. I'm more concerned with safe families. And what I've seen is a rush to try to force technology that is not there yet. So if we don't have the technology to do what we need to do, then we can't keep throwing money at things that don't work. Once the technology meets up with a level of cost that is good for the taxpayer, I'm all for it.
Please
But
complete your
until
comments.
technology is developed,
Time is up,
we need to keep
Nicole.
doing what we're doing. What's that?
Time
Time's
is
up. Thank you. Kathy Rigby.
Thank you. Concerning environmental protection and climate action readiness, I work every day to secure funding for our water and wastewater infrastructure projects in the city of Newport. So this is something that I work on a daily basis to make sure that we have the right protections, the right programs happening, because we've secured the funding and can move forward to make sure that our water is protected. I've also worked to help make sure that we have Connex boxes along the community, so that allows us to increase the safety of community and education.
Thank you. Kristen Dunn.
My background is in ocean science policy and management, and I've spent more than 2 decades stewarding Oregon's marine resources at ODFW and at NOAA. Yes, climate change is affecting us here in Lincoln County, increasing storms, increasing flooding, coastal erosion. All these things increase our risks to our community and to our infrastructure. And I think there are things the county can do, especially as far as future-ready infrastructure planning and investments. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe Steer.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, our planet's climate is dynamic. It goes back and forth. The only thing we can do is if we see technology that's going to help out and it's profitable, or you can get it for a reasonable cost, let's look into it. There's no way the county or the county commissioners are going to stop the climate change or change the climate change. We just prepare if we really see it. Personally, I've seen higher floods. I've seen worse winters. I've seen colder winters. I've seen hotter summers. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Eddie Townsend.
Yeah, I think environmental protection is important in Lincoln County, but I also think we have to carefully consider how environmental policies and large-scale projects impact local communities and industries. For example, the growing conversation and installation around offshore wind projects that can concern developments like the fishing industry, marine ecosystems, and livelihoods. So I think we just have to have a balanced decision-making process that protects our environment while also protecting local jobs, economic stability, and long-term sustainability. That's got to be a focus.
Thank you. Walter Chuck.
I was one of the people that helped bring the PAC Wave site here. Look forward to that being out there, so we can get some renewable energy out there, out of the ocean. And as a water plant operator, I saw the effects of climate change firsthand. We need to make sure that we protect our water supplies, use that resource as efficiently as possible through new infrastructure and water saving initiatives. Thank you.
Thanks. And Curtis Landerson.
Jean Marcy got skipped for position 2.
How'd I do that? Okay, Curtis, and then back to Marcy.
Thank you. Yes, environmental protection is important for our county. I was honored to receive the Oregon League of Conservation Voters endorsement. That is an excellent organization, one that the county needs to reach out to help really update that climate action plan that was created in 2018. That's 8 years ago. We really need to update to see where our priorities should be for Lincoln County. And I'm not the expert, but I know where there are experts to help us and help the commissioners guide us to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And Marcy Baker.
Thank you.
Something about where the upper left corner of my screen is. I don't know.
It's all right. I have a bit of experience addressing this. I was involved in the adoption of the Drinking Water Protection Plan in 2024 that Lincoln City adopted. I'm passionate about watershed protection. We do need to balance the impact on livability costs and balance energy resiliency and honor interconnectedness in our energy industries. It is important that any commissioners are aware of existing plans like the multi-jurisdictional natural hazard mitigation plan and addendums that all the cities have addressing flooding, drought, wildfire, landslides, coastal erosion, or ocean temperature, and extreme heat waves. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, we'll move on to question 2, and I think I'm starting with position 2. How would you deal with the homeless and encampments? Let's start with Eddie Townsend.
That's a tough situation because I think we have to be charitable, we have to be understanding, and we have to have an opportunity to give those people someplace to go. I think when they go onto the public right-of-ways and public lands and they're camping out, they have nowhere really to go. And they may not be in a state of mind to be able to enter into society the way that we'd want them to. So we really have to be compassionate and empathetic and create situations where we can get them into programs, maybe have housing for them, and definitely a shelter when the weather is not great.
Joe Steer.
Yeah, there are different levels of homelessness, and that's kind of part of the issue. It's kind of spread out. You got the folks that just need a hand up and they're okay. You got the ones that got their own little camper and set up like that, and they like squatting, and sometimes they just need a hand up also to get them into an established place. And then you got the ones that kind of don't seem to want to do anything but just have a shelter, and I guess providing shelters in a place that's not interfering too much with businesses, because sometimes those folks tend to take advantage of private business and make it very hard for them to operate easily.
Thank you, Joe.
Just an overall picture. Thanks.
Kristen Dunn.
My approach would be to strengthen the programs and partnerships that both address immediate needs of homelessness and the underlying causes. So continue to support the county's resource and homeless shelter. But homelessness doesn't help. It doesn't happen in isolation. It's also connected to mental health, addiction, trauma, access to healthcare, and affordable housing. So making sure that we're adequately funding and supporting, coordinating our Health and Human Services Department and those underlying root causes to get people moving from crisis into more stable conditions is the approach I would take.
Thank you. And Marcy Baker. Found you.
Thank you. So I think it is always great to understand what's being done elsewhere and other communities' approaches to homelessness, but we need locally informed solutions here in Lincoln County. This is a great example of a particular unique challenge we have around homelessness being in our woods and forested areas. So we should support the existing work, and that means funding those priorities, including forest patrols and having partnerships with the Department of Forestry and Parks, along with supporting Health and Human Services and inpatient treatment.
Thank you. Your thoughts on homelessness and encampments, starting with Curtis.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is really a public safety issue, both for the person that's homeless and also for the public. So it really needs to be addressed. We need the safety of the person to come foremost to make sure that if they need to go to a shelter, we have that shelter to accommodate them. But then we really need to address the barriers, the root cause of why they are homeless to begin with, whether it's drug addiction, mental illness, jobs, something else that we need to do. And we need to have those programs that somebody can get into and work out those details so that they can be productive and get back to their families for a sustainable future.
Thank you. Walter?
Okay, number one, we need to keep continuing to support the Community Services Resource Center. We've had no deaths during cold winter months for the last 2 years. That is a big deal for us. But we also have to make sure that they have access to mental health programs. Health and Human Service Department for the county does a lot of that. We need to make sure that they're funded and that these people have access to them, and any other programs that might be available to help them out, and also deal with them with compassion and empathy.
Thank you. And moving to position 1, Kathy Rigby.
Yes, homeless services require compassion and coordination. So I would work to coordinate services across all of our partners, and also to make sure that we continue the work that has been started with the Shelter and Resource Center, expanding that perhaps to year-round, and also expanding the availability of homes and supportive homes where our population can go to get out of the elements and to start receiving services. Coordinated efforts along with technology will help improve this.
Thank you. Nicole Moody?
This is a much larger issue than just homelessness. Education, family, social services all feed into what's happening with mental illness and drug addiction, which I consider 2 issues that need to be targeted specifically. But we've also created a generation of young adults who are depressed, they're angry, they're lost. And when we're not creating young adults who feel confident and who have self-esteem, who feel like they're going to go light the world on fire, this is what we end up with. So I think we need to handle the mental illness and the drug addiction through social services.
Time is up.
We need to.
So finish your thought.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. Casey Miller?
Yeah, you've heard the county's community resource shelter. It is out of the box thinking for local solutions. Really look at that. There's something special going on there. The county's service profile obviously provides a lot of relief already in these areas, but we really need continued out of the box thinking and a massive shift in how we think about these individuals and the prioritization that they matter. And that's something that we need to continue to tell those stories and recognize together that they matter, and we'll keep working on it.
Thank you. Drew Earls?
I did some of this when I worked for the state of Kansas. And what I would suggest is that you have an outreach program. You have a place where people go out, talk to the people, tell them what kind of resources are available to them, get them into a temporary shelter, get them connected with the social resources that help them build their lives and make them better. There's a variety of reasons why people are homeless, and each individual person needs to be assessed and given the services that they need in order to be able to become a functioning part of society. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sherry Brubaker?
Lincoln County has made real progress. The winter shelter is a real step forward, but the best solution to homelessness is keeping people in their homes in the first place. That means addressing housing affordability and expanding access to mental health services. Lincoln Community Health Center is doing critical work here, and I will make sure that the county government is a strong partner in that effort.
Thank you. The last question for the evening: do you support additional taxes to second, not primary homes to help increase revenue from the housing shortage? Let's just go 1, 2, 3 here and back to alphabetical order. Sherry Brubaker.
That's really tough. I think it's really difficult to try to tell someone what they can do with their property, to penalize someone for owning something. But at the same time, we need to address the plethora of empty homes sitting in our community. I'm not sure that that's the right mechanism, but I think that we need to have discussion and listen to what the community wants to do to be able to address that issue.
Thank you. Drew Earls.
Yes, we should. Thank you.
Thank you. Casey Miller.
I think we should look at it. I think we should run the numbers on it and see what that impact's going to be. Let's do a data analysis and work from there.
Nicole Moody.
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, do you support additional taxes to second, not primary homes to help increase revenue for the housing shortage?
No, I don't. In fact, I'm opposed to all new taxes. We have taxed and regulated the people of this county to death. It's enough. We need responsible spending. We need an audit. We need a budget. We need to be responsible at the county level, and we need to stop going back to the taxpayer and treating them like they are their personal piggy bank. We need to get our own house in order and stop treating taxpayers like they're a purse.
Thank you. And Kathy Rigby.
Yes, I would like to see the data on what that would bring into the community, and especially if the second home is owned by a taxpayer that does not live in this community. I think it's important to increase the affordable housing that's available in our community, and second homeowners, specifically if they don't live here in the county, should contribute to the infrastructure needs and to the housing needs of the community.
Thank you. And our last question to the position 2 candidates, starting with Marcy Baker. Additional taxes for second homes.
I would say no. I think property taxes should run with the property and not who owns it. I do not believe that our housing crisis will be solved by simply pressuring private property owners through regulations and additional taxes. If we want property owners to be a part of the solution, government needs to be far more effective when it uses thoughtful incentives that align private interests with the community needs. The amount of second homes in our community is not new. It is part of our heritage. And I don't believe we should punish anyone for that.
Kristen Dunn.
Yeah, I definitely need to think about this more. Would be a new concept to me. I don't know if other communities have done this, how they've done it, and what the legal bounds of being able to do this are. Certainly interested in looking at it to see and understand, but I do not have an informed opinion either for or against at this point.
Joe Steer.
No. If you need more houses, get out of the way of private industry. They will build the houses. We don't need $900,000 units built by the government when the industry can do it for 190 to 200. Thank you.
Thank you. And Eddie Townsend.
There's no way we should raise taxes on second homes. I think what we need to do is open up the vacation rental license let's get more vacation rental licenses. Let's just open them up. Second thing, go to the planning department and say, let's build, baby, build. We need to build more houses. We need to open up we need to get more permits issued. We need to raise tax revenue through more building, and that will create affordable housing. And then it'll stimulate the economy all over. We need to build more houses. We need to do it through the planning department. Thank you.
Thank you. Walter Chuck, position number 3.
My first reaction would be no, but I think if we need to look at it, what we should do is see if there's other counties in Oregon doing it, making sure it's legal. I think we should not be looking to other states and see how they're doing it. If they're doing it here, we should consider it, and if they're not, make sure it's legal first. But as for imposing, no. Create an incentive possibly, but imposing new taxes on people, no.
Thank you. Curtis Landers.
I'm always open to any ideas and exploring them to see where that takes us. On the surface, for this idea, I don't agree with more taxes for second homes. I think there's other ways that we can achieve this goal without taxing anyone, but specifically second homes as it was described in this question. For one reason, second homeowners don't even vote in the county because they don't live here. So they don't even have an option on that. So that's another reason why. But again, I'm always open to explore ideas. I think communication comes into play when you're looking at these ideas to see what comes out of it, and something better may come out of it to accomplish that goal.
Thank you. Wow. It is like 2 minutes to 8, and we stayed within a 2-hour time frame. This is a miracle, but thank you all to the candidates for being here and for enduring the technical challenges. Nicole, I'm sorry you had difficulty. I'm glad we got you to join us. I'm Jean. Thanks. I'm Jean Cowan. I've been moderating these for some number of years now for the League of Women Voters. The team I've had behind me this year has been awesome. They've done so much of the work, and I thank all of them, and especially to the college for the assistance they've given us and tried to sort through all of the little problems we've had. Remember that your ballots will be mailed tomorrow. You have until the 19th to get your vote in, but vote sooner. It's always helpful. We have vote by mail in Oregon, and it's easy to get that filled out when you get it and drop it off at the appropriate drop sites. This primary is often not the high spot of voting and numbers, but it is so critical, and it's critical to these people that talk to us tonight. The one candidate who couldn't be here, Carter McAtee, will get the questions now that this is finished, and he will make a video with his responses that'll be added into the showing that we put up of this evening's performance. So his thoughts will be there as well. And remember, for those contested more than 2 people races, if one candidate gets more than 50% of the vote, that individual will be declared the winner and will take office next January. If not, the top 2 vote getters will go to a runoff in November. So your vote is very important this primary, and there are certainly a number of other primary contests that we will need to narrow down the slate of candidates that your input is important. So please be an informed voter and vote. If you want more information, the League's online site is Vote 411. These candidates have all filled out questionnaires that site provided, and more information about them is available. You simply put in your own home address and it will pop up the ballot that you will see. So check out Vote 411, and thank you all for coming.